Good evening and welcome to a Wednesday night premiere video, 9 p.m. here on the Muscle Car Appraisal YouTube channel. From the background, it may look bright and sunny. It is actually Friday morning when we are recording this video. My producer Bob has an obligation where he's going to be on the road this Wednesday. So we've taken the time here in the studio this morning to record this video, and we're bringing it to you Wednesday evening. So, getting right to it. Here at the Muscle Car Appraisal YouTube channel, we would like you to send us photographs and a story about your car, along with questions, suggestions, opinions, ideas. Our email address is mycaronmca@gmail.com. Send us pictures of your car. We'll make you part of our broadcast. Send us a little bit of background. We'll be in touch with you to discuss it further, get some details, and we'll be able to make you part of our show on this channel at some point in the future. So moving on quickly. A couple weekends ago, I was in Epping, New Hampshire at the drag strip to see the no prep version of Street Outlaws. Street Outlaws is a wildly popular television show on the Discovery Channel. I'm sure a great majority, if not all of my audience, is familiar or have at least heard something about them. So they had a big show at the drag strip, and I was there. Had to talk to a few of the participants, so there was a little bit of business on my end, but I was also able to record some video of the actual drag racing. So let's get right to it. Bob, can you bring us Kayla Morton's car?
She was blind. That sounds nasty already.
Okay, so there you have it, folks. Kayla Morton, popular driver on the Street Outlaws crew. Started out on the TV show right out on the street with the guys. She can drive. She's got some personality, some good looks, and her racing program has progressed to what you just saw. She's got a newer Mustang chassis car, very quick. Again, she can drive. Cut a very good reaction time and took the win in that particular case. Not the only female driver at this race. Bob, can you bring us the slideshow? This is Lizzie Musi, Pat Musi's daughter. For those of you that don't know, Pat Musi is very well known for building very large, high horsepower engines. A lot of nitrous stuff, a lot of big cubic inch, large displacement engines. So this is his daughter Lizzie. This is her car called Aftershock. It is a 2012 Camaro. It's a 5th generation Camaro. 737 inches with multiple stages of nitrous. The Aftershock name, it does have a relation to Kai Kelly's Shocker. Kind of the same paint or wrap scheme on the car like Kai's, because they are actually a couple and they've teamed up and they're running together in this No Prep series. So Lizzie's dad is famous. Lizzie can drive. Lizzie's got a sister Trisha. She can drive, and they are going to do some big things on the circuit. Lizzie happens to hold the Pro Nitrous speed record of 209.23. She's the first woman to reach 200 miles an hour in a nitrous car in the 8th. And that car that you saw, the Aftershock car, was supposed to be another car for David Birdman Jones, but Lizzie acquired the car, made a bunch of modifications, got Dad's 737-inch engine in there, and they are getting things straightened out. We're going to see her make a pass down the strip and do quite well. So her program is coming together very, very nicely. A lot of talent behind that program. Expect to hear her name more in the future. So what else do we have with Lizzie there, Bob?
We're going to show a video of her packing her chute.
Okay. Here you're going to see Lizzie packing the chute on her car. Most drivers pack their own chutes. It's just something, peace of mind. I was involved with a racer who was running 150 miles an hour plus in the quad, needing a parachute. It's pretty difficult to get a driver to entrust somebody to pack their own chute. Very specific, very tedious procedure, and a lot of drivers just like the peace of mind of doing it themselves. A lot of the professional drag racers have that. I watched many Top Fuel guys, many funny car guys. They just roll it out, and pack it up. And there's Lizzie right there, packing her own chute. You see to the left there, and see jumper cables, so they're charging the battery.
Yeah, it's going to spring. Mine's going to spring. Rolls it off.
Very, very specific process. When you're running 200 miles an hour in the 8th, you're going to want those chutes to deploy, whether it be a single or double. Lizzie happens to have a single here. You got to get it in there just right, because it's just a simple cable. There's a lever you pull inside the car, pulls the cable out of an eyelet. There's a spring-loaded cannon inside there that pushes the chute out. The wind grabs hold of it, opens up the chute, it deploys, and certainly helps slow the car down. You see her tying up all 4 corners that she's pulled in. A lot of pressure on that. Usually it takes more than one person. Haven't found anybody with 3 or 4 arms to do that, so not uncommon to have somebody else come in and give you some help. It's all tied up with the string. Just going to place in the cable, and then that string will be removed. There you go. That chute is packed. The car is ready for flight. Some guys actually put a tag there that says remove before flight. It's a little safety thing to prevent that cable from pulling out. So it is literally just a cable through an eyelet, and that cable pulls out, that chute pops out, gets caught in the wind, it blossoms, and certainly helps slow the car down. Chutes don't deploy. You've got a good chance going off the end of the track, depending on how fast you're going and how far the shutdown area is. The No Prep series for the Street Outlaws, they run 1/8 mile, so you have that extra 1/4 mile to help, or extra 1/8 mile to help slow down beyond the normal shutdown area. So you got a little bit more, but these guys are running really hard in the 1/8, and definitely want a parachute. So Bob, bring us to the next portion of Lizzie, and we'll see her make a pass.
Yeah, it does look good on there. I got a red like that on my IROC. Yeah. What year IROC? 86. I got 91 miles. Pretty 91 miles. Pretty clean pad, though. Our guys had it.
Okay, there you have it, folks. The red car in the right lane was Ryan Martin, very popular on the Street Outlaws show. He runs a twin-turbo Camaro running on methanol. Hard running car. Ryan's a great racer, great competitor, great tuner, just an all-around nice guy. Very popular on the show. In the left lane was Lizzie's car. And if you were watching closely, you saw some people might call it fog, but ultimately what she was doing was purging her nitrous system. She has multiple solenoids, and you'll see one for the right, one for the left. You're purging air out of the line, and you're also bleeding off pressure from the nitrous bottles that are inside the car. There's a very specific pressure that they want those bottles to be at when they leave the starting line. It's all in the tuning of the car. You have too much pressure, you have too much nitrous. It all comes down to laws of physics. You have a nitrous jet and a fuel jet. Keep the ratios proper, and you're going to make horsepower without blowing up the engine. One of the ratios either way is wrong, and you're just either not going to run a number that you want to, or you're going to melt down the engine. So again, pressure plays a factor in the tuning. So they have it down to a science. They want those nitrous bottles to be at a certain pressure, and certainly you don't want any air in the system. So she has a couple purge solenoids, and those will be the white smoke or the fog that you see going up the windshield. If you need to, watch the replay again, and you'll be able to see that. So ultimately, Lizzie won that race. Ryan cut a light on her, got out a little bit, but then Lizzie drove around him at the other end. So good for her. Again, big cubic inches, nitrous, properly tuned car, chassis obviously proper, cuts a good hole shot, stays straight, runs up the big end. She put it all together, and ultimately I wasn't able to stay to the end, but yet Lizzie won that show. So congratulations to Lizzie Musi, taking out all the big boys. You're going to be hearing more from her in the No Prep series and some other things. And look for her sister Tricia as well. Tricia can drive. So great things from the Musi family. So we'll be watching and probably commenting more in the future. So another car that I saw was Doc, or his real name is James Love. Another really popular guy on the show. Runs another big cubic inch nitrous engine. One of the few people left on the Street Outlaw show to still be running nitrous. Most guys have switched to either twin turbos or a blower setup. Actually, Daddy Dave just switched from a Pro Charger to a twin turbo setup in his Nova. So anyway, this is Doc's car. A lot of engineering in this car. This was the only photograph that I was able to get. Again, I was there for business purposes. I was a little busy. Very popular pit area. I was able to sneak in and get this photo. Blocked from the other side. Wasn't able to see much. But anyway, I was able to get enough of this car to determine that there's an awful lot that does not meet the eye. If you watch this car on television, it just looks like a 70 Monte Carlo. I mean, in reality, there's a lot going on this car. Without photographs and everything, just way too much to explain. But Doc was there, wildly popular guy, people standing in line for autographs. Super great guy. Another guy with big cubic inches, and supposedly more coming. So another one of the popular guys was Chuck Seitsinger.
I have the Monte racing video.
But before we get to Chuck, let's watch Doc make a pass. So that was a great pass by Doc. Certainly had a fantastic reaction time, kept it straight, took the win. Again, a lot of engineering into that car. If I ever catch up with him, I'd like to get into some of the specifics as to what he's got going on with that car. So another guy, as I mentioned a moment ago, is Chuck Seitsinger. He's pretty much known as the Race Master, a wildly popular guy on the show, and he drives this Mustang called the Death Trap. Another twin turbo car, small, lightweight. Car comes out of the hole really hard and charges up the top end. There on the passenger side, Chuck's got the glasses on his head. He's actually reading spark plugs to help determine what type of tune he's going to put in the car for his next pass. These Street Outlaws guys, they started off on the television show with your basic pickup truck. Some of them didn't, single rear wheel with an open trailer. And as time goes on, they have grown in popularity. The program has grown, has given them many sponsorship opportunities and some other financial opportunities. This is Chuck's rig that he showed up to Epping, New Hampshire with. Just super clean, high tech. It's got his name on it. He's got sponsors on there. Got a picture of his car. Just a major, major operation going on. Bob, can we go backwards a little bit, back to the slideshow for Chuck? Everybody's wondering, where does all the money come from these guys? Well, for a race like this, they got paid to show up. That's one of the things. And as Bob goes through the slideshow here, you can, let's see, next, right there. This is a tote that has t-shirts in it, and there's a lot of t-shirt sales going on. You can see people walking around the racetrack with their Chuck Seitsinger shirts, and it's a box 5XL, so they have them anywhere from small toddler child. That's the biggest one that I saw. So if you're looking for a Chuck Seitsinger shirt, he's got you covered. And he certainly got the horsepower covered on the racetrack as well. Last year on the Street Outlaws show, he ended up with being #1 on the list. But everybody steps up their game trying to take him out. When you're #1, you always got a bullseye on your back. So everybody's after Chuck, but he's still a great racer. Another guy that I saw at the track was Jeff Lutz and his 57 Chevy. Let's take a look at that. Another really, really high-tech car. Jeff is one of the OGs. This guy's been racing probably longer than anybody else on the show. Super, super high-tech car. The nose is off. You can see it's another twin-turbo car. On the right side behind the tire is the turbocharger and the wastegate. What you see on the front of the door, it's not rust. It's actually burned the paint off. That turbo exhaust runs so hot with the aerodynamics of the car, that hot exhaust gets pushed right against the door. And it actually burns the paint. Huge turbocharger right off of the headers. Same setup as on the other side of the car. I see a Moroso oil pan, custom fabricated headers, all the plumbing. Again, very, very high-tech car. And fantastic looking car as well. So I had a great time at the racetrack. Got to talk to some of the racers themselves. Reached my goal as far as my business purposes there, and got to see some great racing and take some footage that I was able to share with you here today. Just an overall great time. If there's a racetrack near you that has the Street Outlaws crew, definitely worth going to the show if you're a drag racing fan. You're going to see some good racing and meet some very nice people. Pick up a t-shirt, help support the cause. The show is on the Discovery Channel, airs on Monday nights. In my time zone, it's on at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. Usually at 8 o'clock, they run the previous week's show. So if you're behind, you can catch up on the latest and greatest. So, let's see. Moving on to some other segments here. Bob, let's take a look at the do and don't. This is a 1966 Chevelle Malibu that has been wildly customized. So my question is, would you Restomod a true 66 Super Sport, or would you rather go to the extreme with a Malibu? This car has mini tubs in the back, which allows that really big tire, a deep dish wheel. It's got some cubic inches. I believe it was a 6-speed, so it's got a couple overdrives. A lot of suspension work, front and rear. Custom gas tank you see hanging down there. Wanted to maintain some capacity to give drivability out on the open road without stopping at a gas station every 20 minutes. Super clean car. Bodywork and paint were phenomenal, and a bunch of aftermarket equipment in the car. So that's my question to you out there. Feel free to give your opinion in the chat. Would you take a true Super Sport and modify it as much as that car has been modified? And the list for that car is going to be as long as your arm. Lots of things going on there. So would you cut up a Super Sport and modify it to that level, or would you rather see it done to a Malibu? There's two different schools of thought there. So chime in, let us know, voice your opinion. If you want to get into it deeper, send us a note on mycaronmca@gmail.com, and we'll make it part of the show. Bob, let's move on to the Don't Believe photographs. So this car here is a Cortez Silver 69 Chevelle Super Sport. Took a quick peek under the hood, and there's a decal on the air cleaner that says 396, 375 horse. This is a picture of the engine stamping right there. It's on the pad in front of the right cylinder head, and that is JO. So part of my job as an appraiser would be to take that code to determine what it translates to. And in this particular case, JO does not translate to a 375 horse 396. So I don't want to say the car's a fake because I did not talk to the owner. I just let them be. But the point here is you cannot believe everything that you read. For a few dollars, it's very easy to buy a sticker, put it on your air cleaner. It says 375 horse. Some people are going to come along and just be absolutely wowed that it's a 375 horse car, when in reality it's not, and it never was. The reason why I bring this up is if some of you are in the market for a muscle car, and you're going to see a difference in market value between a 396 3¼ horse, a 396 350 horse, and a 396 75 horse, with the 375 horse being at the top of the market. Compared to a 3¼ horse car, you could see as much as a $30,000 difference if you get a very proper legitimate, well-documented 375 horse car, it's going to bring the money. Versus a 3¼ horse car, that could be on the same level. Documented, legitimate, all the numbers match. There's going to be a big dollar difference between the two cars. So, again, don't believe everything you read, everything you see. It's easy to fake a lot of things on the car because there's very high quality reproduction parts. So again, if you are going to get into the muscle car market as a collector, as an investor, have somebody with experienced eyeballs. Get their eyes on the car. Make sure the car is legit, everything as advertised, so you get exactly what you're looking for. Let's see. Let's move into the GNTR. So this is a 1987 Buick Turbo Regal. Turbocharged 3.8 liter straight out of the Grand National, or the Grand National took it right out of the Turbo Regal. Let's look at the next slide on this one, Bob, and you'll be able to see the engine under the hood of this car. It's got a few modifications. So my question on this scenario is, would you rather have a Grand National or would you rather have a Turbo Regal? Grand Nationals for 1987, for all the years, they were all black. The interiors were specific to the GN. Wildly popular for 1987. They were top dog. They were on the drag strip. They were kicking butt. Wildly popular. Still wildly popular, collectible, and valuable today. The aftermarket for these cars is just absolutely unbelievable. You can start small and go big and end up with a wildly fast car. And the guys that are into these cars are real high tech, got a lot of money into some of them. Some of them are just absolute sleepers. Being a V6 turbo, they're quiet. So you pull up next to it at a traffic light and you just have no idea what you're getting yourself into. Guys are running some solid numbers of cars that are driven on the street. They're in the 8-second range, and you can just be at a traffic light out on a cruise night somewhere and look out your driver's window or your passenger window, and there's either a Grand National or a Turbo Regal. Not making a lot of noise, so be careful what you're running up against. So my question is, kind of like with this Super Sport deal, would you rather heavily modify a true Grand National, or would you rather take a Turbo Regal and modify that? Some guys are terribly concerned about weight, and you can get a Turbo Regal to car for car to start off at a lighter weight point than a GN. So, once again, get into chat, get into the MCA, mycarandmca@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts and opinions. And if you have one and you'd like to share it with us, send us the information. We'll be happy to make it part of the show. Let's see. This Turbo Regal happened to be at the Musclepalooza show at Lebanon Valley Dragway a few weeks ago. That was a broadcast we had from a couple weeks ago. And while I was there, I saw this very nice red Belvedere GTX. So here's a nice reflection of the paint around the fender tag. Great clarity. You can see, the asphalt on the ground and where it was cracked and patched. It's an underhood shot. Right under the GTX level. You can see all the cracks in the asphalt. It was a really, really nice car. Had a good, super clean under the hood. It was a 440 car, super commando engine. Just really, really highly detailed under the hood. That car, bumper to bumper, was a really, really nice car. Didn't see the owner. I would have liked to located him. White interior with red. Automatic car, super clean, bumper to bumper, top to bottom. I'm sure I would have enjoyed a conversation with the owner and picking up some history on the car. But he was busy out in the show field. There was a lot of stuff to look at that show. So there's something for our Mopar crew. Let's see. Let's get into the next collectible thing, Bob. This is a 1984 Monte Carlo SS. It is a brother to the Turbo Regal and Grand National. Sits on the same chassis. Doesn't make anywhere near the horsepower that a Grand National or Turbo Regal did. But my question about this is this generation car going to be one of the next collectibles that we see come into the market? They're not bringing the money like a Grand National or a Turbo Regal, but they do ride and handle very well. LS swaps would be a snap in this car. So some people are into the look. The car did great on the NASCAR tracks. So I'm thinking in a few years from now, that generation Monte Carlo is going to probably rise in value. And let's see if it becomes wildly popular with an LS swap. So how many people out there have an opinion as to whether or not this Monte Carlo generation, they started in 83 and they went to 1988, kind of all look the same. They're all on the same chassis. The Monte Carlo itself never grew big horsepower. They were never standard transmission cars. But they were a great driving car. I used to own an 84. Just like that, white car. Unfortunately, it was in an accident twice. I fixed it the first time, but the second time it just got hit too hard. It was time to let the car go. That was in 1984, so the car was 10 years, and the Impala Super Sport was on its way. So I held off of repairing this car. I just let it go to the salvage yard, and then I moved on to the Impala SS in 1994. So let's take a peek at a car here. Well, I'm not going to call it a car. Let's take a peek at this. How many people can tell us what this vehicle is? I was at F40 Motorsports, which is the home of Chasing Classic Cars, and this was in the parking lot. They were doing some work on it for the owner. So, who can tell us exactly what this is? So we're going to make that this week's trivia. Tell us what that vehicle is. And let's look at a couple vanity plates, Bob. This can be another segment for people to participate on our show. Here are two Corvettes. The white car is a C7 and has a vanity plate of BBB BAD. So that spells out bad. Kind of like the George Thorogood song. And the dark gray car has Ken's Vet. Kenz. I went to a local car show and came across these two cars. Corvettes are wildly popular with vanity plates. They happen to be sitting next to each other, so I took a moment, snapped a shot, figured I'd make it part of a broadcast. So, out to you, the viewing audience. What have you seen for interesting vanity plates? And do you have one of your own? Again, feel free to share it with us if you'd like. Again, the email address is mycaronmca@gmail.com. Send us a photograph, or even if you just want to get into the chat this evening, type in plates that you've seen, plate that you may have, send it to us. mycarandmca@gmail.com. We'd love to make you part of our show. So that about wraps it up for us. Yes, Bob. Oh, you got another trivia question. This is a vehicle that I saw at the Mecum auction in Indianapolis. So let's throw out 2 questions for our viewing audience this evening. Who can tell us what this vehicle is? I'm going to give you a hint. It is not a BMW Isetta. Looks kind of similar. Has the same layout. 2 wheels in the front, 1 in the back. Tiny car. But who can tell us what this is? Love to see what kind of reaction we get from this. So, is that going to end it for us today, Bob? Yep. Okay. That's our photographs, our slideshows, our information. Certainly appreciate you being here with us this evening on our premiere broadcast. We will be back live with you very soon. Bob, are we going to be back the following Wednesday?
Not sure yet.
Not sure. Bob's got a lot of things going on. Popular guy. His phone is ringing. And he's a troublemaker too, because he's responsible for last week's show with the birthday cake. Although I will give him credit. That birthday cake was absolutely delicious, and I know that he slaved in the kitchen all day long making that. So 2 thumbs up for Bob. That was actually my dinner for the evening. It was, and if we have any leftovers, Bob, I'm going to take some with me today. So again, we appreciate you all being here. Give us a thumbs up, give us a like, spread the word to your friends. Wednesday night, 9 o'clock, Muscle Car Appraisal YouTube channel. This is the place to be. Wednesday night, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Let us make you part of our show. Thank you again, everyone, for watching. Enjoy the rest of your evening.
Muscle Car Appraisal thanks you for watching our video. Please subscribe to our channel. Please like our video and hit the bell notification. And once again, we thank you for looking at our video. Have a great day.